Welcome to Calming Harp, the sounds of David's Psalms. I'm glad you've joined us for this brief moment we share together. I will be playing some of the music that has been brought out of the Psalms. My name is Steve Rees. I play the harp, and over the last several years I've been bringing the sounds of David's Psalms into recordings. You can find a lot of my music on my website, www.calmingharp.com. I have CDs available and MP3s. And you can go to YouTube. If you go to YouTube and then type in Peregrinati, Peregrinnatti, you will find hours of beautiful harp music that you can just play in the background and be calmed with the music that David may have played for his sheep at one time or another. So as we share this half hour, join me and enjoy the sounds of David's harp. Good morning once again. Thank you for coming back. I hope that I will be able to bring some words of truth to you today. I'm going to be speaking somewhat out of my own personal experience I've been going through this past week, and that experience, or those experiences, have brought me to Psalm 37, and I'll have Shirley read that shortly. But I just want to be right up front with y'all that there are times in my life that I don't have it all together, believe me. And I know that may shock some of you, but it's true. And this past week I've had several setbacks in health and in finances that on the surface that had appeared when it was happening that in fact there was a couple of days, I'll just be frank with you, I was doubting my Heavenly Father. I was doubting that He was really in control. And I was having the thoughts that He had abandoned me. I'll just say it up front. I just want to be honest with y'all. And I'm not going to say this to brag, but I just went into 3 days of fasting and prayer because I go, Father, my trust is really at a very low level, and I just need to know who you are, and I need to understand where you are in the middle of all of this. And He came through for me. He really did. He brought me several different words through several different sources that assured me that He hadn't forgotten me, that the things that were happening, even though they appeared on a human level to be somewhat devastating, the clear understanding that He was giving me was that I was looking at it from the wrong angle. I was looking at it from my own resources. I was trying to make things happen out of my own abilities. And He was reminding me that I needed to rest in Him. He told me that I would have shalom and peace if I would just sit back and let Him handle it. And those words, sometimes they can sound trite, but in my situation, those were the words I needed to hear. And those are the words that I wanted to bring to you today out of my experience, and that's what took me to Psalm 37. In fact, the very first verse of Psalm 37 says, "Fret not yourself." Don't fret. And don't be envious of wrongdoers. And then the verse 3 says, "Trust in Yahweh, trust in the Lord, and do good. Dwell in the land and befriend faithfulness." Remain faithful. And those were words I needed to hear. Those were words I needed to read. Those were pieces of the psalm that I needed to take to my heart. And I know some of you are going through some pretty rough times right now too. Some of you write me notes. And I just want to lift up my experience to you as an encouragement. First of all, our Heavenly Father has not forgotten you. Secondly, He actually has a plan that He's working out in each of our lives. And I say this over and over again, but remember in Psalm 139, He said that He was creating us in our mother's womb in darkness. He was knitting us together, which means He has a plan for us, and He's put things in us that we're going to need to accomplish those things that He is calling us to do. And some of what He's calling us to do is to endure the situations that are coming at us in this life. Endure. Verse 9 uses the word wait. Wait on them. That's one of the hardest things for me to do, because I visualize something in my mind and I want to see it take place right now. And the counsel from David in this psalm is to wait. Wait. Your Heavenly Father knows. He has a schedule. He has a timing. And He says, wait. And then we go to Isaiah 40. At the end there, they that wait on the Lord will renew their strength. Mount up with wings like eagles. Run and not be weary. Walk and not faint. Waiting is a hard thing. I have to admit. It's a very hard thing. But it's what our Heavenly Father asks us to do. And our ability to wait, our willingness to wait, is the evidence of our trust. It tells our Heavenly Father that even though we don't understand what's going on, even though we don't maybe not even agree with what's going on, we're willing to trust Him, and therefore we're willing to wait. So I have quite a few more thoughts I want to share with you. There's some great, amazing words throughout this psalm, and I want to share some of them with you. I'm going to let Shirley read the psalm, and she has some ideas to share with you as well. And then I will come back and close this out. Just remember your Heavenly Father. He has not walked away. He is right there with you. And that is an amazing thought.
Psalm 37 by David, reading from the Complete Jewish Bible. Don't be upset by evildoers or envious of those who do wrong, for soon they will wither like grass and fade like the green in the fields. Trust in Adonai and do good. Settle in the land and feed on faithfulness. Then you will delight yourself in Adonai, and he will give you your heart's desire. Commit your way to Adonai. Trust in him, and he will act. He will make your vindication shine forth like light, the justice of your cause like the noonday sun. Be still before Adonai. Wait patiently till he comes. Don't be upset by those whose way succeeds because of their wicked plans. Stop being angry. Put aside rage and don't be upset. It leads to evil. For evildoers will be cut off, but those hoping in Adonai will inherit the land. Soon the wicked will be no more. You will look for his place, and he won't be there. But the meek will inherit the land and delight themselves in abundant peace. The wicked plots against the righteous and grinds his teeth at him, but Adonai laughs at the wicked, knowing his day will come. The wicked have unsheathed their swords. They have strung their bows to bring down the poor and needy, to slaughter those whose way is upright. But their swords will pierce their own hearts, and their bows will be broken. Better the little that the righteous has than the wealth of all the wicked. For the arms of the wicked will be broken, but Adonai upholds the righteous. Adonai knows what the wholehearted suffer, but their inheritance lasts forever. They will not be distressed when times are hard. When famine comes, they will have plenty. For the wicked will perish. Adonai's enemies will be like sheep, fat, ending up as smoke, finished. The wicked borrows and doesn't repay, but the righteous is generous and gives. For those blessed by Adonai will inherit the land, but those cursed by him will be cut off. Adonai directs a person's steps, and he delights in his way. He may stumble, but he won't fall headlong, for Adonai holds him by the hand. I have been young, now I am old. Yet not once have I seen the righteous abandoned, or his descendants begging for bread. All day long he is generous and lens, and his descendants are blessed. If you turn from evil and do good, you will live safely forever. I loves justice, and he will not abandon his faithful. They are preserved forever, but the descendants of the wicked will be cut off. The righteous will inherit the land and live in it forever. The mouth of the righteous articulates wisdom. His tongue speaks justice. The Torah of his God is in his heart. His footsteps do not falter. The wicked keeps his eye on the righteous, seeking a chance to kill him. But Adonai will not leave him in his power, or let him be condemned when judged. Put your hope in Adonai, keep to his way, and he will raise you up to inherit the land. When the wicked are cut off, you will see it. I have seen a wicked man wielding great power, flourishing like a shade tree in its native soil. But I passed by again, and he was no longer there. I looked for him, but he could not be found. Observe the pure person, consider the upright, for the peaceful person will have posterity, but transgressors will all be destroyed. The prosperity of the wicked will be cut off. Adonai is the one who saves the righteous. He is their stronghold in time of trouble. Adonai helps them and rescues them from the wicked and saves them, because they take refuge in him. Shalom, shalom, my friends.
For that beautiful reading. It's an amazing psalm, and it's clear. It says of David, so it's clear that he wrote this. And when you think of David's life, you think of him not being accepted by his brothers in the first place. Some of the rabbinic literature says he may have even been illegitimate. There's one reference that kind of gives that feeling. And so he was always the runt, and when he went to help them out at Goliath, they accused him of just wanting to be a news hog. He wanted to get the headlines. And then Saul chases him all over the wilderness. He finally becomes king, first of all, only in Hebron, and then finally 7 years later of all of Israel. And he finally gets things put together pretty well. Well, he has the Bathsheba incident, and then And then his son Absalom turns against him, and he has to run away from his son. And so you look at David's life, and as much as he was a king and had a lot of gold, he was also threatened with his life more than once. And he lived in, you could say, poverty. Living out in the sheepfolds is not the most luxurious life. If any of you have been around sheep, they're smelly for one thing, and they're very obstinate for another thing, and they are very, it's just not the best job in the world. Let's just put it that way. I have a friend that has sheep in Iowa, and usually in February he's out in the snow with snow on the ground helping deliver sheep, helping deliver baby lambs. And it's not very comfortable. It's a lot of hard work, and it's a lot of unpleasant conditions. And so David, he's writing this psalm kind of, I think I detect in it that he's balancing out his life. You have these things where he brings up verse 8, he brings up the anger and the wrath, and then the very next verse he says, but wait, if you'll wait, you'll inherit. It's going to come to you, but sometimes you have to wait for it. And then he talks about the sword and the bow, verse 14, and riches in verse 16, and inheritance in verse 18, and verse 19, being ashamed and coming into famine, and verse 20, perishing and smoke consuming. But some of that is not for himself. Some of that is he's declaring the promise that that's what's going to happen to those who have been the wicked, those who have been against him. And one of the themes that comes through this whole psalm, for me anyway, is that David is reminding himself and us that no matter how bad things look, if your trust is in Yahweh, He is going to bring you through. The people who have planned bad things against you, the people who have looked like they're succeeding while you're suffering, the people who don't care about following God's teachings versus you who are doing everything you can to walk in His path and looking like it's doing you no good, and they're prospering when they're not doing anything. And you're going, it's just not fair. It's not fair. That's one of the common phrases we hear a lot. It's not fair. And David, amidst that seemingly unfairness, is saying, but wait. Don't get discouraged. Don't give up. Wait. Continue on the path. Continue to walk in the path that He's laid out. Verse 34, he says, wait for Yahweh and keep His way or His path, and He will exalt you to inherit the land. You will look on when the wicked are cut off. It may take some time. It may look like nothing's happening, but wait. Wait. And again I say wait. There's another psalm where he says wait, and again I say wait. As if, in case you missed it the first time, you're going to have to do a little bit of waiting. I know one of the situations I've been facing is demanding a good share of waiting for me. But as I've come to understand my Father being in control, and as I've opened my hands and given Him everything, no matter what, the waiting is not nearly as hard because, first of all, I don't expect anything. I really have given up a human expectation of what I think should happen. And I've 100% gone into the place where I'm trusting my Father that no matter what happens, He's the one in charge. He's the one that will bring it to pass. And once again, as I say, I'm not bragging. Please don't misunderstand me that way. I've had to go through a lot of suffering and a lot of emotional turmoil to get to this place. It's not an easy path to come to. It's not an easy road. But it is the only road. Yeshua said, the narrow path and steep is the one that leads to life, and the broad path, highway with the wide gate leads to destruction. So we have to make our choice. And so today I'm challenging myself, and I'm challenging each one of you to make that choice for the narrow path that leads to life. Shalom. So I hope you've enjoyed our time together. Stay tuned, as I say. Little pun. I have many more songs to share with you. I have more to share about how this all comes together. And I pray that you will share and help people, especially those you see stressed, especially in these times that we're going through. Bring people to this calming and this peace and this rest that this beautiful music of the Psalms of David brings to each of our lives. Thank you for listening. Hope to see you next week. Many, many blessings to you all today.